Hello, welcome to another day of Ether Raids. I got quite a couple matches to play today, and first one is against Sane here. Now, for the sake of expediency, in the couple matches that I'm about to show you, I'm going to cut a large chunk out of the next two matches. Primarily because they end the same, so just because I got so many videos to record and edit, I will chop these down. Big error on my part. Kind of just waited. I really just wanted to test out the 400 lift. I didn't go all the way to 400. I just went over 200. I went 270 just to see if it would work, and thankfully it does work. I was able to just check a couple of other channels, and also Joel did it, so I was like, okay, so if Joel is committing to this, I can also commit to this as well. So I committed, and it worked out in terms of it wasn't a scam. It's actually fixed. So yeah, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna cut a couple of the first two matches actually a little bit shorter than they were. Not that they were long to begin with. This is the first match against Sane here. Really nice team, but unfortunately both of the matches that I'm about to show, the first two, are going to have the same outcome. And it's going to come down to the fact that Fjorm does not win against this Bernie. Unless she can one-hit KO her, Fjorm will lose against Brave Bernie. And as you can see here, one. That is all that we needed here. Just one more damage. I probably could have gotten it if I had positioned somewhere around where Peony is. I probably could have gotten that extra one damage, but alas, it was not to be. Good setup in the sense that there were multiple mythics to get Bernie to 60 HP. Well, just to have more bulk overall. The 60 wasn't really a magic number that she needed to survive Fjorm. And also, the fact that she only took 60 damage from that hit was actually pretty insane. But in any case, 2 hits would normally have been enough to take out Ascended Fjorm in that situation because she does not have Shield Fighter. Unfortunately, I didn't go back. Well, I couldn't. I didn't have any more orbs to go back in and get another copy of Shield Fighter so that I can give that to my Ascended Fjorm, which would have made her better overall, just able to survive that combat. I think she would have probably still lost though because of the speed matchup. I don't think she would have had enough speed to be able to avoid the quad, so she probably would have still died anyway. But that's the first one, and here is the second one here against another setup that is really similar, and really I was like, Gale Force was potentially an option, but it would have been too difficult to get up there and then get back because of Gatekeeper in this match. And then also in the other match there was Robin, and Edelgard actually struggled to kill a Brave Robin the last time, so I was like, I didn't like my chances there. Plus, with the trap placement, it would have just been too much for me to think about and try to get in and get out successfully. So, Fjorm, not that I don't have other far saves with Shield Fighter, but Fjorm would have actually just performed better if she had it. She only really loses to Brave hits with her current build. So that means she loses, I think I've said this before, but she loses to Bernie because she loses the speed check, she loses to male Shez, she loses to female Shez, the legendary versions of course, because again, the speed check, and anyone else that can hit Brave that can quad, because it has to be a quad, because I'm running Hardy Bearing. So if it's just regular Brave, in the case of Emblem Celica, she will win because Hardy Bearing. But if it's not, if it's a quad, then she's probably going to lose. Again here, this is even more damage than before. This is what I was saying, that it typically only takes 2 hits for her to lose. Because the second hit, she normally gets the curve shot off. I was surprised that the other Bernie didn't get the curve shot off in 2 hits. She didn't get the curve shot until the 3rd hit, which was quite peculiar. because she has tempo. Bernadetta has tempo, so the guard shouldn't matter. So I was surprised that she didn't get it off. But in any case, once one of your saves breaks, then typically that means that there's room for entry for follow-up attacks, and that is what is happening in this match and the match before. Yeah. I wanted to see if Asker could survive, but I know for a fact that, well, you saw it earlier. Felix takes out Asker. Well, this one, I don't know. Weird. He didn't lose here, but Felix can indeed take out Asker. You saw it earlier, but I wanted to see if Asker could survive against Bernie, but I didn't want to. We'll try that another time. Yeah, that's the two matches. Both of them were expected losses. I didn't really have a team for it, but yeah, here is the match for today. This is the first of 3. So there's 3 more to come. Or, I don't know, maybe I'll just put them in one video and make it like 2 videos. I don't know. But yeah. So for this one, GG's to those opponents. It's really interesting, like, although I'm not like all the way up, because normally I'm like with my lift I'm a lot higher, but even though there's still a lot of opponents or a lot of players or a lot of defenses that can give you some trouble in the lower tiers. Even if you're outside of the vault, there's defenses that can give you a lot of trouble, just because people like to like just build meme defenses or just really strong defenses, and they then go on to not play Ether raids because they just don't enjoy it, which is, I find strange, but to each his own, I guess. But yeah, even in the lower tiers, it's still a challenge sometimes, especially if you don't have the right teams for stuff. And this week I didn't want to spend the blessings because I feel like there's gonna be a unit that's gonna come out. I feel that will just fill all those holes that are currently in my my team compositions, and that's kind of what I'm waiting on. But in any case, this one I also wanted to see if Asker could survive against Sanaki, but my better judgment was telling me not to do it.
What is it?
Because I don't know, it feels like he should win that matchup with all of the flat damage reduction that he has, plus bonus units, bonus stats, and support from Gato, I want to say. But then Sanaki hits kind of hard, so I don't know. Maybe it might not have worked out. You know what's interesting? It's interesting that even though Sanaki can outsource or pull so much damage from so many different sources, she still hits a ton of zeros these days against like a lot of the newer units, and that's so bizarre. Like, she's built to like counter things or counter teams that clump together, but there's just so much damage reduction in the game with Hardy Fighter, Shield Fighter, stuff like that, that it just doesn't even make sense to use her. And that's just, when you think about it, that's really crazy. She hits so hard, the Sanaki. I can't even imagine what they're gonna do. Like, when it comes time to give her a refine, she's gonna be like a monster.
Ready to work.
But in any case, for now, we're just, or what I've done, or what I did, was pretty much just run away from Sanaki from here on, and just try to take out the units that were left. Sanaki can't come. Well, the melee units can't come down because everything's boxed off. The only one that can reach is Embla. So whenever you see a matchup like this, or a map like this, typically I don't break the structures because the melee units will not be able to reach you unless they're flyers, or if they have some type of warping capability. But even if they do, in most cases, the defense, if it's melee and locked behind a wall, it will not move because they can't reach. And typically they just sit there, which is kind of strange, but also understandable based on how, based on the AI guidelines that they have in the game. It kind of makes sense. But Embla is really the only one who can like get down here and not reposition, because reposition takes priority if the unit is threatened, or movement assist takes priority if the unit is threatened, or if a unit is threatened on defense. AI, blah 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 blah, whatever. So yeah, running away from Sanaki. There's enough space for me to do it. The space in the back row, again, very important. Definitely want to have it. I don't know, like it's been a while since they've introduced a new structure, so I've been thinking like what that new structure would be and what would force them to do. The last time they introduced a new structure was safe defense, and that's like 3 years now. And that was because of Sigurd. So I'm wondering if they're gonna accidentally release a unit that will force the introduction of a new structure for defense. Well, yeah, for at least defense, because offense got a structure, but defense didn't get one. So kind of not fair. But then also, what would it be? You know, like more debuffs. We already have some of these structures that inflict debuffs. I don't know, but hopefully they get a little bit more creative with that, because I'm kind of tired of running the same structures over and over again. At least give us some new traps, because Felix has kind of made every other trap invalid at this point. So at least give us some new trap that does something remotely useful, because the majority of the traps, as much as of a hindrance as they are, you can just play around them and not even be worried about it. A large majority of the time, you can just ignore the traps. It doesn't even matter. So hopefully they fix that. I don't think increasing the cap in terms of levels for the traps even makes sense at this point. We just need an all new trap altogether. You could even just combine the hex trap and the bolt trap at this point, so that one trap does both jobs. You could just combine them at this point. That's just what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm hoping to see what they do with structures and traps going forward, if anything at all. I don't see why they wouldn't introduce something new for that part of the game, because it's been kind of stale for a while. But yeah, so yeah.
What is it?
Whew. Okay.
Ready.
All right. So I'm going to take out Tsunaki here with Uller, because I've actually been having a ton of fun with Uller this week. She's redeemed herself in my eyes. I've been really just surprised at how well her refine has aged. Even with zero investment or minimal investment, she's doing a ton. And yeah, shout outs to Uller for I don't know, proving to me that she can actually do something. So yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with her. Been doing some testing as well. She's been doing pretty well in testing. So there's that. And also Goldmary. This Edelgard has like 60 something defense, and she still wins. That's actually crazy. Edelgard typically doesn't lose to blue units, but that's no longer the case. Especially after she got her refine, she really just didn't lose to blue units at all. There wasn't any blue units that could beat her. But that's no longer the game that we're playing. That's at least a year or two later, and yeah, that's no longer the game that we're playing.
Yes, ready.
I don't know if I'm going to actually use the lift feature, like just saving up the matches for later on in the week again, or how often I'm going to use it. I did it because I wanted to test it out, and also because I was really exhausted, so I figured this feels like the best moment to do it. But I don't know, it feels kind of... I don't know how to say it. It feels like, especially on defense, I don't feel like my defense is coming up against the opponents that I would like it to come up against, in terms of actually challenging my defense. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the same mistakes from players that are in the lower. It feels like I'm bullying players in the lower tier with my defense, and it doesn't seem fair. So I don't think I'm gonna, what do they call it, sandbag? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do it, because it just doesn't feel 100% fair. Just in that sense, I typically build my defense to win against higher tier players.
Good morning.
So to have someone who is not that active of an Ether Raids player come up against it, it's probably not going to be the most fun thing for them.
Very well.
It'll be entertaining because you see units get defeated, but yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. It kind of makes the effort feel a little bit too much. That aside,
This way.
defense is going okay.
Lady Niffle.
To be expected, I guess. What else? What else?
Don't look at me.
I don't know, man. I'm really just waiting on the banner to drop, so that the trailer at least, so I can have something to talk about. I've been playing a couple of matches for SD to get some practice in for SDR. I haven't really built a team yet. I'm still trying to get Sita to max favor, which is going to be like a forever thing, it looks like, by the looks of how many games it's going to take. But that's about it for this one. I'm going to queue up the other matches. GG. See you in the next one.